Hey guys, welcome back, everybody. All right, so really great to be back. I was busy making ciders. I had to take care of the apples and pears yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to do any videos. So we are behind, especially in our today's topic. Ooh, before I forget, these today's topic videos are the ones where I leave on the comments. So if you guys would like to, once I'm done with the live, you'll see the comment section will be available. And these are the ones where you guys can type the word compassion in the comment section. And then each Monday, I go through and randomly select a winner out of one of these today's topic videos, and I do a storytelling for them on Monday. So this particular video is going to be covering a message for yesterday, just a quick little what was yesterday's big message, and then today, and then also tomorrow. So November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I'll do little birthday pulls at the very end of this video as well for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then we'll be back on track. Hi, everybody. And after this, I'll do one collective message, and then we'll get into zodiacs. All right, so the message for yesterday, November the 1st, was 5 of Pentacles. Could have been a day where somebody was feeling their nerves were jangled. Could have been a day where somebody was feeling, I needed some kind of like nourishment. And maybe that's what it was all about. You know, we really see somebody needing to tend to their body, mind, spirit, but mostly body and, just like, it looks like it was more about what do I need to nourish me right now? I'm feeling maybe hungry for something. And that could still be a metaphor. This could be somebody recognizing yesterday that they were hungry. Oh, we have the Hierophant. And somebody had a breakthrough yesterday. That's awesome. Could have been a strong Taurus. We do also have Virgo, Capricorn, but it could have just been somebody saying, I'm an earthly creature who has earthly needs. And gosh darn it, I realize I am hungry for some things that are, like I can't deny myself the fact that I'm aware there are some things I need to attend to for my own self to be my healthiest and happiest. That's great. It could have been a day where somebody said, all right, this is the day I take charge of my healthier eating habits. Chariot, it's definitely that a plan was made for a character. I'm going to move forward and take good care of me. I am important. If I'm going to help other people in my life, I first have to be satiated. I have to have enough sleep. I have to have good food. I have to have the things that I need also. And I'm going to move forward confident in that. I don't think anybody expected this person to go ahead and take care of themselves for a change, but thank goodness because they needed to. Hi, everybody. So I don't know, somebody could have just taken the day for themselves yesterday. 7 of Cups. They could also have put into implementation, like, I'm going to ask myself every 3 days, what do I really need? Are things still going well? I'm going to set up a little check-in, or maybe once every 7 days, I'm going to say, all right, how did that week feel to me? Did I feel like I balanced my life well? Now, they could have also left other people wondering, like, what the hell? We're not used to you putting yourself first. We're not used to you nourishing yourself. This could be like new territory and could leave a couple people scratching their head going, we don't know. What are you going to do next? But this looks really positive. So yesterday's energy, I think, was a character who put their own needs at the top of a list, and I think they're going to continue to do so. A lot of earth and then a lot of water. By the way, we did also have Cancerian here. So that's the message for yesterday. Let's get into the energy for today, November the 2nd. And we're going to go blunt. Now, I don't expect that these stories will necessarily be connected, but you never know. So let's just take a look. What do we have for this day? We have got the 2 of Pentacles sideways and the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Somebody's having a timeline jump. This could be specific for a more divine masculine, just because we've got him the center here and we've got him the center here. Somebody's like, it's time to pay the piper. This could be a person who was trying to stay like young forever, and maybe that's not working out so good. Maybe they have overspent on their money. We see somebody who's struggling a bit with their finances, trying to like refinance or something. This could be a divine masculine who was partying too much, and now they are coming around to, today could be the day that they start looking at their bank account. Ooh, Judgment card. This could just be somebody who's coming face to face with their own actions and realizing that I don't particularly like the way I've been living my life. I kind of feel embarrassed. Maybe I say embarrassed because if we're grabbing the back of our neck, because it's like, oh God, I'm getting a headache even thinking about this. I would definitely say embarrassment. If this is somebody who, was not being very like they were slow walking any kind of relationship because they're like, oh, but there's other beautiful flowers to smell. What if there's other people I want to date? Even if I met somebody wonderful, I don't know that I want to commit because, hey, what if I meet somebody else? Something is crashing down today. Like that lifestyle, the intentionally dragging one's feet has caught up to them. Or like I said before, partying too much, spending too much money has caught up to them. Now they're in this very uncomfortable position of trying to negotiate to get back what they already initially had. They had enough money, they overspent. Now they don't know what to do. This is Judgment Day. They had a person that maybe they could have dated, but they were still slow walking it, trying to maybe stay single longer, in case they still needed to sow their wild oats or something. And now it's like, I don't want to sow wild oats. In fact, today I feel like I might have missed out on a really great relationship and I'm going to have to plead my case. Like, this could be somebody who has a very uncomfortable moment today of what am I going to say? This is somebody who has a lot of pride. I never liked this King of Swords card because he's a jerk. He's standing here in his tux looking down at somebody who is down on their luck, who's literally like in a position of having to beg, and he feels 10 feet tall because he's got money and this other person doesn't. And I just loathe this character so much. I can't stand this character. And I would never normally say that about a King of Swords, but this card has always confused me because I'm like, a King of Swords is not supposed to be some inherent cocky billionaire bullshit, better than everybody else, feeling superior to other human beings. And yet that's who we've got on this card. And I've never understood why they did that, because that's not really supposed to be anything about the King of Swords. King of Swords should be fair and balanced. They would never walk around and think that they're better than others, especially, kick people when they're down, punch down. That's not a King of Swords at all. There's nobody in the upright that would be a king, a queen, an emperor, an empress. That's low vibe all day. So I don't know why they put him on here, but they did. And we got to read it as such, but I can't read this as a nice energy, even though it's upright. So forgive me I'm just explaining why I won't say anything nice about that card, because I can't, because it's not how they decided. And I kind of go with what the artist chose to put on here. So all I can say is that I haven't really been digging this character's behavior too much. And now we got this other, I'm going to sound really biased, but this is not a nice card. They could help people, but they didn't want to when they could have, and now they're being judged for it. It was all about them. They could have been fair and balanced in relationships, but nah, I kind of don't want to give to anybody when I could get so much attention from everybody. This is an uncomfortable day because I feel like their behavior is caught up to them. And they could even be in the uncomfortable position of they're getting a taste of what it's like on the other side. If they're having to beg somebody for attention, beg the banks to do business with them, try to sort out all the problems that they made. I almost feel like this is a little bit of what goes around comes around. Once upon a time, you were so big for your britches, and now you're the one who's in the, kind of deficit position, and you're seeing that there's other people who are treating you exactly the way you used to treat others. Well, I have so much going for me. I don't really need to be nice to the little guy. Or I have so much. I don't, so many people want me. I don't really need to be good to a person that is, really loves me because, I have all these other options. It just feels like they're getting a taste of that. And it is very unpleasant today for them. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. And they're not getting out of this anytime real soon. I kind of feel like it is time to pay the piper. What they have behaved like, the shoe is on the other foot now. And I'm going to say, I'm reading this Judgment card like that because we have this person who's standing here like the bouncer is the angel saying, have you behaved well enough to instantly get some huge assistance now that you're calling out for some help? And it's like, no, you kind of made some choices. You need to kind of stew in those choices for a bit. Are you uncomfortable? Well, those are things that you need to reflect on. Just because you're suddenly experiencing the way your behavior has impacted your own life, it doesn't mean that you instantly should also get relief from it. You should probably have to sit in the actions that you took. If things aren't going your way right now, we're going to let you deal with that for a bit. You need to kind of experience this so that maybe you can grow from it. Strength card in the reverse. This is really, I feel like this person's ego is so immensely shattered right now that this is probably so uncomfortable for them. They're like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to deal with the embarrassment of all this, and it's like, well, it'll get easier. You're going to have to deal with the embarrassment of the poor choices you made, because that's part of your growth cycle. Being embarrassed of the stuff that we do, the reason we have a conscience is because it's supposed to tell us that that was messed up and we're supposed to be uncomfortable. So then we choose not to behave that way again, and then we become better. Look, they are going to have to sit probably. I mean, I could picture this, and I don't read for genders, but we're going to say masculine again, only because we keep getting kings. This actually could be the best thing that ever happens. Yes, he's in the timeout chair. Yes, he's sitting there by his lonesome in the dark, and he might be crying into his cup first, but he's actually kind of reflecting on the things that maybe he has loved that he didn't cherish, the things that he should have paid more attention to that he didn't. I just feel like this is a massive blow to the ego, because living high on the hog, feeling superior to everybody, and all of a sudden his fortunes have flipped. And now he is getting a taste of what that feels like. But this humbling is probably the best thing that could have happened. Yes, it's very scary for him. He's out of luck. He's up a creek without a paddle. He can't get money from the banks. He's not got anybody around him to love on him and support him. And that's better for him right now, because he needs to sit with his own behavior. It's like, if a kid was super selfish and, grabbing everybody else's toys and breaking them and feeling like they're allowed to do that, and now no kid wants to play with them, and the teacher says, you're going to go sit over there and, think about how come no kids want to play with you. No, you don't get to be mad that the other kids won't play with you and demand that they should. You did some stuff. Why do you think people don't want to play with you? Think about that and let me know when you figure that out. It feels like that's more the energy on this one. Like, it does feel like a brat who's no longer a brat, or they are going through the uncomfortable cycle of realizing that they were a brat. I mean, I'm just saying it that way to be as gentle as I can, because it is a tough judgment day for them. 7 of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Ooh, okay, so they still kind of have some more layers of things that are going to make them very uncomfortable, which could be, I don't know if they do come in and say apologies, or they think about that. She's like literally smacking the back of her head to get this spoon of crap out of her mouth. Here he is again. This is the same King of Swords, and this is a Queen of Swords, possibly saying, oh, you've got to be kidding me. You seriously are reaching out to me? Yeah, I'm so not interested. There's nothing you can say that would make me not call you out. I know what your past behavior was like. I can't swallow this. Like, there's no way that you're changing. I don't think she believes that he's changing. And I kind of think that if he reaches out to somebody, maybe somebody that he didn't treat very well in the past, I don't see her being like, oh, you poor thing. No, you're a great person. Oh, I can see that you've changed. This is her like not buying it at all. Again, I wouldn't read this way, except she's like, gag me with a spoon. No way. I don't believe this for an instant. I don't care how long it's been. This is all blockages. She's not buying it. So I don't think he gets any instant reprieve. I think this is an uncomfortable day. And if he reaches out to somebody hoping that he can get like somebody on his side or somebody to alleviate his sorrow, or tell him, hey, it's not that bad. You're not that terrible. You didn't do so many like embarrassing things. That's not the case. We have the Sun in the reverse. This is probably going to serve to make him feel a little bit sadder. And yet, in this story, look, this is somebody who was so, like, they laughed at people who were poor. They were mean and selfish. Like, they cheated on people. They, like, keep in mind, this character has a lot of growing up to do. So I'm not boo-hooing and saying, oh, this character needs somebody to go easier on him. They probably need to, like I said, have the other kids not want to play with them anymore. And it's so funny because we literally have kids, either playing together in the sandbox, or in this case, nobody will play with me. That's right, because you were mean to the other kids. In this storyline, the other kids are just other adults that you mistreated. But it's like, if we can simplify that and use that analogy, when you're a jerk, Kids don't want to play with you. When you're an adult and you're a jerk, people don't want to be around you. And even if you're down and out, they may not be so willing to say, "Oh, you poor thing," because they're like, "Well, you were a jerk." Like, good, maybe you're learning how not to be a jerk now. So I'm sorry, but that is the message for today. It is a very uncomfortable place for this character to be. I asked for a blunt message, but wow, that was pretty sharp. Let me get one overview. We've got this Knight of Swords. The universe says this person may want to get out of this uncomfortable feeling very, very fast. Is that going to happen? Because everything here still says gonna have to. We have Chariot and we have Nine of Coins. They want to move on really fast and feel amazing. I don't know though, with that Chariot upright, only Emperors and Empresses get to ride in that Chariot. They want to be an Emperor and Empress again really fast. Like maybe they want to be a better version of themselves really fast. But I kind of feel like they're going to have to first work on who they are as a person. Here's the thing. The breakthrough is maybe they now know what it would look like to be a better version of themselves. And if they want to change, and this is their epiphany moment today, then yes, sometimes it can be a total turnaround. And maybe reaching out to that Queen of Swords and getting shut down by her also, or just not hearing back from her, is that moment where it's like, okay, literally nobody wants to play with me anymore. That says it all. I've been pretty abominable. So I got to change my ways because I do not want to be this person. If this is their moment to shift and change, I will say they still want to impress her at some point in time. They want her, somebody that they do respect, to see them in a better light. Now that might still be their primary motive, more so than just, I want to be a better person. It's like, I want her to see me as a better person. But we do have an epiphany after a very uncomfortable day. Look, I would just say that the universe is like, yeah, sometimes it hurts to look in the mirror and see our behavior, but sometimes it's the best thing we could ever do is have some repercussions, hit that wall, have our life kind of implode a bit, and then we start to see what we got to do different, do better. So it's not a bad message. It's just an uncomfortable day for him, but it's also a day where I think it's the first day of the rest of his life to turn things around. All right, now let me go ahead and shift on over and we will take a look at the message for the November the 3rd. Here we go. We have got the Nine of Cups. We've got the Ace of Cups. We got the Empress. Okay, so again, totally different energy vibe for the 3rd. There's huge happiness. There is possibly like great love, even a gift coming in. And with an Empress here, Empress is Libra Taurus energy. We have somebody who is like, we could say a feminine who's loving her life. This could be a masculine, of course, just as easily. This could be that a feminine is going to be gifted something, or somebody is going to say to her like that they're in love. She seems to be having a really nice flow. The divine feminine in this storyline, it seems like she's pretty content and pretty happy with very simple things. She's holding whatever is precious to her. In this case, it's a human baby, but of course it could be, a non-human baby. It could be anything that, Empresses always develop and grow things. And it just says she's loving her life. She's kind of like grateful for the small happy things, but we could also have somebody bringing something beautiful into her. We have a King of Swords. I'm telling you, I crack up laughing because we have had like a King of Swords journey. And it's not like that's the only king that comes out. It just seems like a King of Swords busts into like practically every storyline for what seems like a long time. And I'm just cracking up laughing because we just saw a pretty salty version of that for, the 2nd. And now as we shift over to the 3rd, we've got, could be a totally different Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, but somebody who is, I feel like they may love this Empress. But the Empress is already having a great day. Okay. We have the energy of like, I don't know if there's going to be giving. I don't know if there's going to be, will she want to give to me? We have the Queen of Pentacles sideways. It almost seems like we have a King of Swords watching this Empress and saying, God, she's so happy. And she's happy with just who she is. She's happy with her life. She makes things grow. She nurtures things. She's She's happy, and I can see that in her. It's really cool to see. I don't know if she'd want to give any of her, share any of her joys with me or her energy with me, but it would be really maybe quite lovely. I mean, he's wearing his suit of armor, almost like I'm almost afraid to ask her. Uh, but I know she's really loving with that Queen of Cups. I know she's like so generous. She's so giving, and she's so like open with everybody. So I wonder if she would give to me. By the way, the dogwood flowers are just really visible to me. So I don't know if that's. Oh, we have the star. I kind of think this is somebody, I'm picturing like in those old cartoons where like the character, I think there's like an old one where Minnie Mouse is like baking a pie and sitting it on the like ledge of to cool it off, and the odor becomes like a living thing that goes out to like Mickey, and it's like a little odor ghost who's like saying come on, and Mickey's nose like dances with the scent of the odor back to the pie. I'm feeling like that, like he is drawn to her like the scent of the pie. Like I have to almost like, or like zombie style, like I can't help it, I'm coming toward her generosity or her warmth or her love. She's this beautiful, bright, shining light. She's this really high vibrational quartz crystal, and that her vibe, maybe it's like I'm drawn to her voice, I'm drawn to her energy, and I don't even know what to say other than I can't help it. And I'm just like riding this wave that is bringing me right toward her. And it could be because she's given off Empress vibes, happiness vibes. I'm picturing somebody who's like making when you dip your finger in whatever your beverage is and you run it around the rim of the glass, and it makes a little, melodic sound. There's just something about her that's like, I'm picturing like bells and sounds and all of these things that draw him to her. It's her frequency is what he's drawn to. And her frequency is, she's like emitting generosity and joy right now. Well, of course, anybody would be drawn to her for that reason. We do not need to think that he's the person from, the second. We don't need to imagine that. This could be a totally different situation, but we do see somebody that is really drawn to her. And we have the Boy of Wands upright. Boy of Wands is, this is that Knight of Wands. And so there is passion. We do again see melody and music, which again could go with vibration. The only thing is, it does look like he's very aware of how loving she is, how high vibrational she is, and how much he either wants her healing. But then we also have this powerful like sensuality coming in. So we could have somebody approaching an Empress, not sure if she'll want to share any energy with him, but almost like unable to help himself because he's really attracted and he can see she's like really amazing. Two of Pentacles. This Two of Pentacles is like, there's only one road forward, right? We have two different locations, but one road between the two of them. Normally a Two of Pentacles is, like I'm weighing things. Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Is there going to be balance? I kind of think he's saying, well, I won't know unless I try. Maybe she'll like me too, maybe not. But we definitely see somebody saying, I've got to find out if she would give to me because I'm too damn attracted to her not to try. Kudos to him for giving it a whirl. Five of Wands, Eight of Cups in the reverse. Oh, so this is somebody returning. I didn't read it that way until now. We do have the Serpent here also down at the bottom here. The Five of Wands is where we think about stuff, we consider stuff, we even overanalyze stuff. But ultimately, this is a symbol of change. The butterfly is a symbol of change. He may be saying, look, maybe she's not going to want anything to do with me, but I'm so attracted to her. She's so lovely. I know she's really giving. I know she's really generous. And I'm going to go back and see if she can see that I'm different now. Maybe I didn't view her that way before. Maybe I didn't treat her that way before. But I'm different now. I see her different. I see love different. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to give it a whirl at least. with that Eight of Cups in the reverse. I'm not walking away. I'm turning around and walking back to her, but as a changed individual. And I just hope and pray she'll see that I look different. I come across different. My energy is different because I'm seeing her for what she is. Well, I mean, I'll just say good luck to him. Is she going to be surprised by this? Girl of Discs, that little Page of Pentacles. She never forgot him, right? We got the elephant, which are good symbols of memory, but that elephant is like touching the crown of her head. It's almost like when she hears from him, it could be like, oh, wow, of course I remember them. But here they are, they're bringing in this like kind of like a dandelion wish puffer thing, offering that. And this can always be like a gift or an offering or a communication. She will instantly remember them. I don't know what her memories are. There's a lot. This is a very intricate card, lots of colors. I think it's a beautiful card, so I don't see a lot of negativity here. And if she ever wished that she would hear from this person in like a different energy, this could be a wish come true for her. She could be very happy about this. This is very timely because we got squash in the forefront here. We've got pumpkins and crookneck squash, I would say. So this is, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so of course we're in fall and we just came through Halloween. Eight of Swords, and we've got this racing energy moving faster to get beyond all these obstacles. Normally this would be blocked energy. I would say on her side, remember she's having a good day. She's an Empress. She's many different queens, very comfortable, very loving. She has not forgotten who they are. She'll know them immediately, but she may not respond immediately. She may intentionally say, I want to, but I'm going to hold back. Why are you holding back from replying to them immediately? Nine of Wands. She's got to think about this. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. She may have to ask herself, would it be a good idea for me to reach out to them? Or, is there anything else going on in my world that I either need to be a little busy bee and work on? Or is this something that, see, we have the Lover's card. If they caused me any grief, if I thought that they chose somebody over me, would I want to reach out to them? Even if it's, because, they see me as such a wonderful person, I'm the one that got away. Do I really want to see them again? Or she could just be worried and say, do I really want to put myself through talking to them again? What if it's to hear that they went off, tried it with somebody else, didn't work out, another yo-yoing back around to me? I think it's better for her to pause and ask herself, what is it that will disrupt me if I reconnect with them? What am I prepared to hear, not prepared to hear? Where have I had hurts or wounds? It is kind of like, would it cause me any grief to hear from them again? Would it disrupt my life? Depending on what story they have to tell me, what do I need to hear? What do I not need to hear? I always think it's good when characters decide or remember that it's them who gets to decide, or them who needs to remind themselves, I get to pick. Just because somebody wants to talk to me does not mean I have to. Just because they may want another shot with me doesn't mean that I have to give it to them. Or they want another shot with me. Maybe I want to give them another shot, but I still get to stay discerning and say, but I get to decide if they're, as I'm getting to know them again, whether or not this is making me happy. I don't want to slip backwards into a position of, okay, they want me. Finally, I'm the one that's chosen. I hope that they'll keep choosing me. I think that the reason I'm reading it this way is because we have the serpent behind her saying she's changed also. In the Lover's card, she's the one who needs to pick them. And she needs to kind of like give herself a pep talk and maybe remember that before just reaching out. Because her instinct is, I want to reach out. And then it's like, wait, I need to pause for a second. Let me think about this. If I was wounded, or if this is a wound I knew I carried, even, maybe they didn't hurt me, but maybe this is one of the kind of delicate things about me. Let me make sure I remember I should be asking myself, do I like this person? Do they bring something into my life that I want in my life? Maybe this is her personal pep talk. Just because she's an Empress and a Queen energy doesn't mean that she doesn't need to give herself a pep talk. And it also doesn't mean that she hasn't been wounded. even by them specifically. Empresses and kings and queens and stuff, they get hurt too. They just handle it differently, meaning they actually work through it and they come out with new perspectives. At least that's how I read these characters. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just that's the way I read those. All right. She's going to have to think about it before she reaches back out to them. All right, and now let me go ahead and get to a message here for the 3 birthdays that would be associated with this. So first off, a message for a birthday that is on October the 1st. We got 4 cards and 2 of them were popping. We have a Judgment in the reverse, a 7 of Wands upright, a 9 of Wands upright, and an 8 of Swords. Okay, so something's not over, not done. Even though we have things getting unblocked, certainly like possibly on a divine masculine side, but I don't know that everything is all systems go yet. For a message on the first, we may have I'm not saying that this is the only thing that goes on in a character's world in a whole year, but there is, I'm hearing that song, The Never Ending Story from that film. It doesn't have to be bad. It does say that we may have a feminine who's like, I'm still not willing to let somebody back into my life yet, even if I know that we're not done. We haven't had closure. I know that they're maybe trying to either thaw me back out or they're going to be trying to talk to me again. I might still say, I need some more things to prove to me that I should bring my walls down. And so it just feels like there's more negotiations afoot in a potential relationship, which could be really good because it's slowing it down and saying, 7 is a number of change. That 9 of Wands is somebody that is wounded and still not totally done with their healing yet. And she might be saying, well, then you can't come back in until you are healed. Like, we could be talking, but we're going to keep it just as friends. And no, I'm not going to get too close. I know our story isn't over yet, but I'm also going to keep up some boundaries for myself. This can be a card of being stuck, or it can be a card of, if somebody else is stuck, keeping them at a bit of a distance and saying like, yes, it's not that I don't want to talk to this person, but I have to have boundaries in place because I'm not going to get stuck in this realm with them where they never quite finish healing. They got to do what they got to do. I'm not saying I'm not talking to him ever again, but I'm also not saying I'm letting him back in my house yet. So it just kind of feels like we have unfinished business with a kind of maybe very important character, but it just looks kind of nice because it's like taking the time, to let things heal. All right. And then let's go ahead and Steph Love, did I do a birthday reading for you? Steph Love, so I actually do that in the members corner, and members have to tell me during their birth month. Were you a member during your birth month? And then you let me know in one of the members' videos, because that would be the only way that I would have done that, babe. I don't know. I mean, you would have had to have probably, like, if you wrote me in the members corner, then I definitely would have gotten to it. Although sometimes things do fall through the cracks. So I always say, please let me know if I missed you somehow. But that would be the way that would work. Does that make sense? So I do that right now for the days, but I don't know what day your birthday was, honey. What day were you? Because did you find the today's topic video that would correspond with your birth date? I only started doing this like in the kind of like the latter half of this year. So if you were like an earlier birthday, then you have not had one yet, because I only started doing this, right around like, I think August. So maybe that'll make, October 3rd. Are you the person who wrote to me? Somebody wrote to me and I texted you back, or not texted, but commented back. Yeah, check the October 3rd video, because somebody said that they didn't see it. And was that you, sweetheart? Somebody told me that, and I commented back and said, it's there. It's in the video. You got to go to the playlist for today's topic, and you got to take a look at that. And watch it all the way to the end, because I always do these at the very end. Was that you, honey? I don't remember. Oh, you're talking about, oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Okay. I see where this is all my fault. Hang on just a second. You guys, my apologies. It should have said for November. My apologies. November. I just changed the title. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. We're in November now, and my brain is still on October. I apologize so much for making that error on the. Have I been saying October this whole time, or have I been saying November for second and third? I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh my God. I need a handler. I need a whole village to take care of me. My apologies, you guys. But yes, October 3rd would have been done already. And now we're on November the 2nd birthday. And then I'll go to November the 3rd birthday. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what my mouth just said out loud. Oh, what a botched mistake I just made. For a birthday for November the 2nd, let me be very mindful with my words right now. We have a 7 of Cups, we have a 6 of Cups, and we have the Knight of Swords, and it is in the reverse. Okay. Sorry, everyone. That 7 of Cups is the energy of confusion or opportunities, which is actually really nice to see. And it's opportunities for soulmates, all kinds of soulmates. This doesn't come in really fast. This says we have maybe a lot of relationships with, ancestors, grandparents, lovers, anyone that we've either had distance from or been estranged from. All those relationships could kind of work themselves out. Relationships could also change. People that we spend a lot of time with might, exit our life a little bit. Not that the bond ends, but we may, like, our kids grow, they leave the house, but then our parents age and they come into the house. We could have like a bit of a rotating door of relationships and people coming in and out of our lives. And it's slow though, so it doesn't feel abrupt. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, everything is changing. But at the same time, everything is. There's opportunity to form better bonds with possibly everybody in our lives, all kinds of soulmates, because of the changing dynamics of who we spend more time with, who we spend a little less time with, where we let go of the reins a little bit, where we bring, other people into our lives that maybe now we need to spend more time with. All of that it kind of says it'll gently and naturally evolve slowly enough to where our character gets to enjoy each connection with their soulmates, their soul group, romantic, non-romantic, familial, friends, all these different people throughout the next year could become highlighted moments in time where it's like, oh wow, I spent a whole month spending a ton of time with, my grandmother, and it was so amazing, and we rebonded, and I'm so glad I got that time with her. And then, 2 months later, I spent a lot of time with a friend of mine, and that was really good. It just feels like it's a year where there will be a gentle metamorphosis of relationships, but it's so that all these bonds can be strengthened, not weakened, which is really nice to see. All right, and then last but not least, for November the 3rd, here we go. November the 3rd. We have got the 3 of Coins in the reverse. We've got the Page of Coins in the reverse, and we have the 7 of Wands upright. Okay, so this actually looks like we've got somebody who's cutting somebody out of their life, even saying, I don't think I need to keep working on something. It doesn't feel divine to me anymore. It doesn't feel like something that I'm cherishing or something that I'm supposed to keep pouring my energy into. This could be a character saying, I'm no longer going to be working in a certain industry, or I'm no longer going to be dealing with a certain group of people, putting my energy toward building a certain goal, because I realize I'm either out of inspiration or something has told me that I'm hitting a lot of brick walls. And maybe that's because I'm actually supposed to be putting my creative spark somewhere else. I would say that this, to me, because it's all pentacles and wands, I don't see love here. It could have been a relationship that started to feel like a job. And it's like, that's not how I want it to be. I'd like to bring more passion into my life. And I started to ask myself, am I passionate about this? And it could be like, no. And that's where I need to put up some boundaries so that, if I have to struggle to make myself be passionate about something, then maybe I don't want to do it anymore. Or I feel more strongly like this is probably in this next upcoming year, we have a character that's going to be, discerning and asking themselves, I have limited amount of resources and time. Let me make sure I spend my time and resources with the people, places, and things and situations that are going to like really help my life to blossom, instead of provide a bunch of blockages. When I hit a bunch of blockages and it's taking so much extra work, and I feel like you think of like a car that's stuck in mud, and the more you pump the gas, the more you just dig a hole. I think, those wheels just spin and dig it in deeper instead of propelling you forward. I think this is a character saying, I'm going to notice relationships, situations, jobs, things like that are sapping my energy while not moving me forward. And those are the things I'm going to block out so that I can preserve my inspiration, my love of my life, my desire, and pour that toward things that I really want. So actually really nice message on that, as far as like a character, moving forward in their life and going after things that they really truly want that'll bring more light to them. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce on out of this. Thank you guys so much for being here. Sorry that I fumbled the name of this. I got to go back and rewatch it and see, was it only in the title or if I said it, because I'll have to go through and edit some of that out if I possibly can. Otherwise, I'll just have to put a warning. This is for November. Sorry about the misspeak. But you guys, thanks so much for hanging with me. I'll see you guys again in the zodiacs throughout the day. All right, lots of love. Bye, guys. Take care.